This is Texans TV.
We look back at a memorable 2019 and ahead to the 2020 season.
Rock and roll! Touchdown! Deshaun Watson!
Texans 360 starts now.
Rock and roll! Touchdown, Texans! Luke with the catch! Oh my goodness!
This is Texans 360, and we're so happy that you're with us. A new season of Texans 360 begins as the 2019 season ends. I'm your host, Drew Dougherty, with my good pal and the voice of the Texans, Marc Vandermeer. Marc, I hate to be doing this show at this time of year, but if I got to do it with anybody, I'm glad it's with you. This was a memorable 2019 for a lot of different reasons.
Well, absolutely. I mean, we don't like the way it ended.
No,
it's like
no.
really good movie, and you don't like the ending, which unfortunately is the ending for every season in the NFL except for one team, and the Texans had their bad ending last week in the playoff loss, but there were so many good things to this season. Another divisional championship, another playoff appearance, a playoff victory, and a lot of fun moments along the way. I think sometimes we forget about that. Big wins over the Patriots, the Chiefs. Again, the divisional victories, a lot of fun stuff.
You know, it's important that you brought that up. 31 other teams going through heartache and misery for the ending of their seasons. I had to tell that to my 6-year-old son because he was distraught, like so many others of us were, after everything that happened on Kansas City. And he was, distraught, respectfully so and justifiably so. But there were good things that happened in 2019. Did not end the way you wanted. We know that. But like you mentioned, you go on the road to Kansas City and win. You go on the road to Tennessee when Tennessee was on an absolute high and rolling like, a ball of butcher knives, as Dave Campo used to say, and you beat them. And you beat them not handily, but you beat them with some ease. There were some high points in 2019, Marc.
Well, absolutely. The season started with the Monday Night Football game at New Orleans, and that was a painful loss because
with a roster that had just been cobbled together the week before.
I mean, a lot of key players, and I think that's a big story to this season. The acquisitions of Carlos Hyde and Laramie Tunsil and Kenny Stills and what they meant for this football team. Even Duke Johnson during training camp in the trade for Cleveland when they were really thin, paper thin at running back, and they acquired those two guys to help them out. That was a huge boost to the season. But the loss to New Orleans, followed by a couple of victories, including one at the LA Chargers when they were still going, all right? At that point, that was a team coming off a playoff season. I think that was a nice win for the Texans at the time, and just one of many. London, sometimes we forget about that.
It was the most complete game of the year for the Texans.
It really was. That was the game where they put it all together. It looked like for a while in the playoff game they were going to put it all together. Obviously, it didn't come together. But with the Jaguars game in London, boy, you're a stranger in a strange land over there. They're not. They're used to going there, and the Texans really took care of their business.
There's an idea out there by some that 2019 was the year the Texans pushed everything into the table, and that was it. This is going to be it for them. Now, there were some drastic moves. There were some aggressive moves. But a lot of those moves involve players who are going to be here next year, who are going to be here in the years after. Laramie Tunsil, Duke Johnson, Kenny Stills, they're going to be around next season for sure. So I think it's important to remember what happens with an offseason of all those characters together, including what you add in the draft, including what you add in free agency. There are going to be some interesting times ahead.
Well, they did invest a lot in these acquisitions, but they clearly needed to do this. Bill O'Brien was right, seeing the situation coming out of the preseason. Oh my goodness, we need some help. They were able to win some of the games we talked about because, or in large part because of these acquisitions and the way everybody gelled together with them.
All right, we're going to discuss a lot more about what went down in 2019, but we turn now to some of the best plays. In fact, the top 10 plays from a season that saw the good guys win 10 games and advance one round in the playoffs.
2 minutes to play at Arrowhead. 31-24, the Texans lead, and it's 4th down and 3 at the Kansas City 27, and Bill O'Brien's going to go for it. Here's the snap. Watson throwing, and he hits Hopkins for a first down. The game is over. The Texans can kill the clock in Kansas City.
Excellent throw. What a call.
Deshaun looking. Deshaun stepping to his left, and he throws long again to the end zone, and it's caught by Stills. Rock and roll. Watson to Kenny Stills for 6.
What a throw. What a throw.
Deshaun Watson, 3 touchdown passes with the nation watching against the defending Super Bowl champions. Here's the snap. Tannehill looking left, throws that way. It's tipped and picked off. And Whitney has it. He's running across the 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, right sideline, the 50. He's being chased, the 35, 30, 20, 15, 10, and knocked out near the 10-yard line as the Rock Boys celebrate the takeaway. Deshaun gets the snap, looking left. Watson dancing, and Watson throwing downfield, and he's got Fuller across the 15, 10, 5, rock and roll! Touchdown to Will Fuller, and that seals the deal. On third down, he's got time, and he's sacked back at the 23-yard line by J.J. Watt, and the crowd erupts.
It's J.J. Watt. Torn pec, doesn't matter. My team needs a play, and I'm going to make it.
First down at the Bills' 20, split backs, Watson in the gun. Deshaun calls for the ball. Keeper, right side, Watson, 15. Watson cutting inside 10, the 5, still going down to the goal line. Rock and roll, touchdown, Deshaun Watson on the run.
Put the team on your back. When you have number 4 under center, you always feel like you got a chance.
Jacksonville going for the lead right here from the 2-yard line. Handoff Fournette running left, and he stopped. Justin Reed got in there. The D stiffens on the 2-point conversion try. The Texans have the lead 13-12 with 30 seconds left.
A little trickery here. Hopkins and more trickery to Watson. Touchdown. Oh, baby. Like a 4x100 relay. A lot of give and take here.
Handoff, yep. Option play out wide, perfectly executed.
Wow.
Watson looking, pocket collapsing. Watson trying to get away. He does to the right, throws to the end zone. Caught by Fells. Magical. Touchdown, Houston. And the Texans take the lead.
A magician. Looked like he might have gotten kicked in the face when he broke out of that tackle.
Here's a blitz. Watson in trouble. Watson escapes to the right side. And Watson throws it to Jones. Cutting inside 40, 35, 30, the 25, 20, 15, and down to the 10-yard line. What a play! The magician does it again.
He took a shot from his blind side and spun right out of it.
But the guy that Dabo Swinney said was the closest thing he's seen to Michael Jordan, he put the S on his chest, and he got out and made an unbelievable throw.
All right, so that number 1 play involved a guy who will always give you hope, no matter what's going on the rest of the way, the rest of the organization, coaches, other players, he will always give you hope. Deshaun Watson headed into his third full year as a starter because his rookie year got truncated. What does he do to improve, and how bright is that future there?
Well, the future is extremely bright, Drew. I mean, think about watching the great quarterbacks in this league, and year after year, I mean, not everybody's going to be Tom Brady or Drew Brees. I get it. Those guys are still around, okay? But year after year after year, Matthew Stafford even in Detroit or Matt Ryan in Atlanta, you got a guy now who's going to be here for a long, long time. So every year you've got a shot, in large part because of Deshaun Watson. And the play we just saw, amazing. You know, Houston's Houdini, they call him. By the way, I want credit. I think it was the first person to call him Houdini back in 2017 when he escaped from a bunch of sacks, or would-be sacks against New England, Seattle, whatever.
There are a few hundred of us, including you, that we all said that at the same time. But I'll give you the credit if you want.
I guess so. But he's incredible. I mean, the guy makes plays in any which way possible, with his legs, with his arm. He buys time. He can throw from the pocket really well. And he's going to continue to get better. And that's the key thing for any player in this league, and the coaches will tell you, anybody will tell you that. You have to continue to improve. If you're not going forwards, you're going backwards. And I think Watson will certainly go forward. So the best is really yet to come with this quarterback.
And it's important you bring that up, that improvement, because we've seen this from Deshaun Watson. In one of the ugly losses, and all losses are ugly, but in one of the uglier losses earlier this year, we saw him on the field at NRG Stadium a couple hours afterwards, working on his craft and getting better. And what we saw the next couple weeks, excellent play from him. So the way this season ended is gnawing and will gnaw at Deshaun Watson. And he's going to work on getting better in a lot of areas where he thinks he can improve.
He expects to win every time he takes the field. He expects to win even if the team's down multiple scores, and he's done that often. He leads the league in comebacks the last couple of seasons. Now, you'd rather lead the league in 3 touchdown victories, I get it, but sometimes you're in that situation where you have to bring the team back, and he's able to do it. So you're right, he's got the work ethic. I remember the game you're talking about the following week, has a watershed performance. But I think the numbers are going to really stun everybody next year, and maybe it won't even be about those kinds of records. It'll just be about more wins or wins that are stacked, and they'll get you to the postseason with a chance to get that coveted bye, because I think we all agree that's what they need. They need to be playing that divisional round game here at NRG Stadium.
Yeah, it's like you said. He likes those numbers. He'll get those numbers individually, but he's all about the W's. He's all about, he'll take handing off 20, 30 times a game if that's what it needs.
I was just saying that for the fantasy football people, okay? Because I know you're out there. You want to know that it's going to happen for you.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, coming up, we look back on how the Texans defense fared in 2019 and what might be ahead in 2020. Stay tuned.
Here's Fairbairn for the win.
I call game.
28 yards, right hash mark. The snap is down. Fairbairn's kick is up, and it's good! And the Texans go to the divisional round in dramatic fashion.
Magician play, baby, to get us that W. Man, Watson all day, baby. Watson all day, man.
That is what happened. That's what happened. That is what happened when you have JJ Watt. That's what happened. That's what happened.
Welcome back to Texans 360, and I love that video because Marc Vandermeer, I was just like a lot of those folks. I had on a suit and tie, I had headphones on, but I was going bananas up on the 5th level at NRG Stadium when the Texans pulled off that comeback. I might have said a few things that maybe in normal discourse would get me fired, but Marc Vandermeer, that was a fun way to close out your home campaign in NRG Stadium.
It really was. It was a historic win for this team. And when you think about the playoff wins they've had, that was certainly the most fun, I would think. 2011 was great too, but my gosh, coming back from 16-0 and the amazing Watson to Taiwan Jones play to get him down there, Fairbairn's kick. Look, that was a terrific day. We know the end the next week wasn't good.
Horrible,
but that was a terrific day to get you to the divisional round. And like we said, the goal is to advance past this point, and they're going to work hard to improve in all phases in order to get that done.
Yeah, one of those phases defensively, you saw J.J. Watt after a 2018 that was all-pro level. He gets knocked out because of the pectoral injury, and then he comes back for the playoffs. Really took a toll on the defense that second half of the season because pass rush just suffers when you don't have a Hall of Fame player on the field.
Yeah, and I think, we all look at the last game against the Chiefs and wow, I mean, that was a remarkable performance by them, and the defense didn't play nearly the way they wanted to. But when you look at the second half of the season, Watt coming back is an incredible story. We all know that. But the defense still, even though they gave up some yards in some of those games, I mean, when you hold the opponent to 20 points in their building or 21, as was the case in the victories at Tennessee and at Tampa Bay, I think those two victories really are the defining wins of the campaign for the team because they had come off the loss to Denver. They go on the road. Tennessee was piping hot. They stopped them in their own building. That was supposed to be a coronation day for them. Then Tampa Bay, really hot going in. They stopped them in their own building. And I think those two wins, the defense held the point total low, and they got the takeaway train rolling in the Bucs game. So I applaud them for being able to do that and getting you to the postseason. I think despite the fact that Watt went out and they were undermanned in some cases, they did do the job for you down the stretch in order to get you into the tournament.
You know, there's some work to do on defense. You know that's going to happen through free agency. You know that's going to happen in the draft as well. But there's still a lot of bright spots there. There's still some stuff to work with. At the back end, you got Justin Reed. He had a great year at safety. And then in the middle, Zach Cunningham, the linebacker, Vandermeer, McKinney. Those guys had great seasons.
I mean, Cunningham, what a breakthrough season for him. He was always good, and he led the team in tackles in 2018. 2019 does it again, and just seemed to take things to another level. Again, it's not just about the tackle stats or whatever. And McKinney, you know he's a thumper, but he can do so much more for you. Those two guys inside are just cinder blocks that move around a lot for you. And I think the defense has a great nucleus to build off of.
Yes, it does. All right, stick with us because when we come back, we're going to Florida. That's all next on Texans 360. Glad you're back with us on Texans 360. Drew Dougherty, Marc Vandermeer. I want to go to Florida.
You
want to go to Florida?
Well, listen, you and I have covered multiple Pro Bowls, right? But now that it's in Orlando, we send DP because it's not in Hawaii anymore. No, I'm just kidding. Orlando's great, and the families love it because you have Disney there and all the other stuff.
Yeah, but when it goes back to Hawaii, I'm going to raise my hand to volunteer. So
I'm going.
Right. Well, Vandermeer McKinney went to his first Pro Bowl last season, and he also went to Disney.
First time here, great chance to be here in Disney World. Got to bring my mom, my dad, my son out. Great environment, get to have fun, enjoy life. This is my son's first ride at Disney. Cash, you wanna get on a teacup? Say yes. Say yes. Cash. We gonna see. Wanna go again? I went through some hard rides today. The 7 doors really made me face my fears. Scariest ride that was ever built, but I conquered it. I faced my fears. We good, we good, we good. Oh, we good, we good. We still good. Going up, and then I'm thinking it's about to be a huge drop, but they took me around a little turn. It ain't spooked me or nothing, like.
You were screaming like it.
Who was screaming?
You were screaming like that was the whole
Who was screaming?
You.
How you hear me screaming?
I heard you through the tunnel.
Swear. Swear to God.
On my child.
What I was saying? We good, we good, we good. Oh, we good, we good. We still good. Fine. I mean, I love it, man. I mean, look at all this. I mean, the big council, man. I only see stuff like this on TV. Just seeing how packed it is, man. This is a wonderful feeling. Can't wait to see more of the park. Man, it's unbelievable. You ready? Yeah. Give me 5 then. Yay! Hold your hands in the air, Cam. Say, yay!
Coming up, we head back to the 2018 Pro Bowl with D4, a.k.a. QB1, a.k.a. Deshaun Watson. Texans 360 rolls on from the Didge, also known as the Arctic Studios. Drew Dougherty, Marc Vandermeer, and what a year for Deshaun Watson. He goes back to the Pro Bowl for his second straight time.
You know, and he really enjoys it. Bill O'Brien was in this studio earlier this week talking about how much fun it is to get the quarterbacks together and talk football. And they also throw the football a bit outside of the game.
Yes, they do, as they did in the skills competition last year.
No, you're hot. He mic'd up. What's up with you? Yeah, Deshaun. What's up with you? I'm good. How about you? Yes, sir. Good to see you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it. What's up, man? How you doing? I'm doing well. How about you? Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir.
how it's going to have to be.
That over the shoulder one, I got to get that one.
Back when you get right here.
I'm solid, all good. Getting game ready, you know what I'm saying? About to take over. There go Juju. Oh, that's catch.
Yeah.
What is it, baby? You know what's going on? You starting big or you going small?
Going big. Forward first. I'm going for the 4. So I'm going to see a 1 and a 3.
Yeah.
One's like 4s.
Two's tricky though.
4s and the 1's and the 3s.
Yeah.
So I'm going to stay.
And if you hit those, try to hit that 5. If it's still,
yeah.
But if it's moving, don't try it.
All right, next to the line for
Hey, who's gonna go get the ball? Oh, he's out. Is this one of y'all?
Okay, that's going to wrap up this first edition of Texans 360 for 2020. And Mark, I'm looking forward to many more of these with you sitting here.
Yes, let's turn the page. I'm not over it yet, but I will be. We all will be, and we will gear up for 2020.
Yeah, and we're not done. I mean, you can still go to the Houston Texans mobile app, HoustonTexans.com. We've got QR codes and stuff. So get after it, get on it, and get to know more about your favorite football team.
Yes.
And go Texans. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to know when we post new content.